A client of mine runs a small field service business, and a few months ago, he mentioned something in passing that really stuck with me. He had an invoice that was outstanding for 11 days. Not because his customer was avoiding any payments, by the way. When I asked him directly, he admitted he wasn't actually sure that the invoice actually got sent out at all. Now, that answer did surprise me quite a bit because he's really careful. He's a very organized person. He wasn't careless at all. He had simply no way of knowing because the job was marked complete in one place and the invoice for that specific job lived somewhere else entirely with nothing to connect between the two. The information didn't move on its own. It waited for him to remember it existed, and on a week where three other things went wrong, he obviously didn't remember them in time. That's when I started noticing the same pattern everywhere, just wearing a different costume depending on the type of business. So I sat down with the owner of a small accounting firm a few weeks later, and she described the new client process to me almost apologetically, like she already knew something was wrong with it. A client's document would arrive by email, and sometimes it would arrive by a photo texted from a phone. Sometimes it dropped into a shared folder that nobody checked on a consistent schedule. Before any real work could begin, she had to gather all of that herself from four different places and assemble it into something usable. In that moment, she wasn't doing any accounting work whatsoever. She was doing the work of a system that had never actually been built. So I saw a version of it again with an engineering firm where a single project approval had to pass through three separate platforms before the next stage could start. Now, nobody had designed these three platforms to talk to each other. So at every handoff, the approval would sit waiting for a specific person to notice it and then open it and manually push it into the next stage. Sometimes that took an entire hour. Sometimes it took most of the entire week, depending on how busy that one person happened to be. So that's three completely different industries. But the similarity is that there is exactly the same underlying story. Somewhere between one step and the next, a human being had quietly become the connecting tissue holding two systems together. And nobody had ever decided that on purpose. It simply happened, the way these things always do, one workaround at a time until it becomes normal. Now, here's what actually fixed it for my field service client. We didn't replace his invoicing software. We didn't add a new platform for him to learn. We built one small trigger that fired the moment a job was marked complete. So the invoice generated and sent itself within the hour, instead of waiting on a memory that was already carrying too much else. The 11-day invoice became a 2-hour invoice, and nothing about his actual work changed at all. Only the handoff changed. That's the real lesson underneath all of this, and it's the reason I keep coming back to it with almost every single client I sit down with. The problem is never the industry. It's never really even the task. It's the invisible handoff between two systems that were never designed to speak to each other, quietly relying on a person to be the translator every single time. If you recognize that pattern somewhere in your own business right now, that's exactly what a discovery session is built to find. 30 minutes and we locate the handoff together. Link is in the bio, or you can find it at mois.ca.